Hi, I'm Chris Colvin. I'm the founder of In the House, and we're a community for general counsel and other in-house counsel to engage and connect with their peers and learn how to be better advisors to the C-suite and better representatives to their internal clients. One of the programs we do at In the House is called House Calls, and we talk to thought leaders who work with in-house counsel and share our vision of helping to make them more successful in their careers and more successful in the operations of their legal departments. So I'm delighted today to be here with Charlie Garland. Charlie is an innovation expert and consultant, and he provides advice on business strategy, behavior design, and working with all kinds of leaders, including lawyers, to develop and implement innovative solutions across a wide variety of organizations and industries. So first of all, Charlie, thank you so much for appearing on House Calls today.
It's my pleasure, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. So why don't we start with a little bit about your own background and your own journey to becoming an innovation consultant. And also if you could give us some thoughts about how corporate legal departments and general counsel specifically can benefit from trying to take a more innovative approach to how they conduct their work.
Sure. So I started off learning about innovation out of the necessity of being an entrepreneur trying to lead a startup, maybe 20 years ago or so. And I realized that innovation was important for me to formulate a great business plan, something that could get funded and something that would be successful and really work well and have a certain wow factor. The more I learned about innovation, though, the more I realized that a lot of people had kind of a misconception about it, and they had almost an unhelpful, wrong idea about what innovation is. A lot of folks, for example, associate technology with innovation or the bright, shiny object sort of thing. And while that is a form of innovation and it kind of can be what results from an innovation process, people who orient themselves to that bright, shiny object at the end of the process really are missing the essence of what innovation is, how valuable it can be, and quite frankly, how they can be a part of driving it and doing it and making it happen themselves. So the more I learn about innovation and the more I learn about the context of how innovation works within any particular environment, this could be a business environment, a medical environment, a legal environment, or some sort of an educational, anything like that, it really has to be understood within the context of whoever is going to be learning, practicing, and leading innovation. And one of the most important things is to understand that all human beings are subject to psychological differences, cognitive biases that affect every human being, no matter how smart or well-educated or successful you are. And these really powerfully and seriously impact how we deal with innovation, how we view innovation, and whether or not we feel that innovation is something that we can embrace, we can lead, we can do, and whether we want to.
Well,
Now,
thank you for sharing that great background. Let's fast forward to the current environment because we're sitting here doing this interview in June of 2020. And of course, we're in the midst of a global pandemic still. There's been an economic downturn of unknown duration and severity that we're living through. And more recently, there's a tremendous amount of unrest around endemic racial injustice in our society, which of course also infiltrates the corporate environment.
yep.
So could you share a little bit from your own expertise on innovation about how can innovation be a tool in the challenging current environment for general counsel to both survive and to thrive in their own careers, as well as to do a great job representing their internal clients at their companies?
Wow, sure. So the one thing to understand about the crisis that we're in is it's a whole different ballgame. The rules have changed, the environment has changed, the risks have changed. What we used to know, what we used to feel comfortable with and confident in is an environment and a scenario where our skills, our inclinations, the things that we know that we can do was a good match. The way we think and the way we behave and the way we affect change was all very well aligned. Now it's not. Now the way we believe our skills and our expertise and the things we're confident in, there's a real mismatch there. But the good news is, what I know about lawyers is they're very, very intellectual people, very smart and talented, but very often they don't think of themselves as people who are creative or innovative. And therefore, they don't really, they're not inclined to feel comfortable with innovation, to lead it, to get involved with it, to take risks, which they think is part of it. But it's so necessary to. And the good news is they are very capable of doing it. They just don't realize it. One of the cognitive biases that really affects anybody's ability or willingness to practice and lead innovation is the concept of what I would call unconscious incompetence, or we don't know what we don't know. And that's so important now to use the skills that lawyers already have, and in particular general counsel lawyers, because they have to be conscious of things that are going around them constantly. They have such great skills of asking questions, analyzing, investigating, probing. Those are such important basic skills for innovation, and I don't think most lawyers realize that, or where it comes out. So, for example, I read a great story recently about a general counsel who was not only just a participant in, but really one of the leaders in her organization, working alongside business people, taking the lead in creating a new business model for their organization to be able to adapt to a completely new environment. Well, this had nothing to do with this crisis per se, but it was a very similar kind of a situation where they were exposed to a whole new risk, a whole new ball game, a whole new set of rules. And this attorney, through her knowledge of understanding how to work with the business people, how to create a new legal structure that not only constrained properly, but enabled new processes to be used, new value to be created, was a tremendous success. So
That's a great lead into my last question, which is we like to end these conversations by trying to look at the silver linings, especially now during this time of crisis. So would you mind sharing, Charlie, some of your thoughts about how General Counsel can take some of the strengths that you mentioned and use those strengths as well as innovation to emerge strong from this crisis and be a stronger and better General Counsel and help their corporate legal department emerge strong as well as an organization within the company?
Yes, yes. The great news here is that I see such promise, such potential for the skills that I know lawyers to have, and the things that they truly are, that they exceed in, or that they have a wonderful strength in. Part of what gets in the way is the fact that they are so used to the way that they think is it leads them to kind of just be an immediate answer giver, advice giver, problem solver. And while that is a wonderful ability of attorneys, what they're capable of doing, but what they don't always do, is to stop and think and ask questions instead of give answers, to explore, to build the context, to create a deeper understanding with this problem space that they're dealing with, and to just get in the habit of stopping, asking questions, exploring, creating the right problem statement, the right goals, the right context for them to work with business people as teams, and to help lead that forward into new solutions.
Well, Charlie, thank you so much for sharing your expertise on this edition of House Calls.
It's my pleasure, Chris. Thank you.